I am finally back after a huge break, and I do have 12 of the best Galaxy Watch faces for 2024 for your Galaxy Watch 6, 5, 4 and any other Wear OS device you might own. For easiness, if there's any watch faces you do like from this episode, there's always links down in the description, and I've also got them in my previous videos too. Anyway, without further ado, let's get on to the first Galaxy Watch face of the episode, which is the KF155. This one is a fairly realistic, fairly minimal digital analog hybrid watch face with some really great bits of information on it. At the top there, you've got your date and time in digital format, along with the weather contained inside its own little element. Off to the right there, you've got your date. Left is your battery gauge, which is actually really nicely designed, if I do say so myself. And then finally at the bottom there, we've got our heart rate and steps counter, something I think is really important to include on a watch face these days. Now, there's a lot to love about this watch face, including the customization options the developer has sought to bring to us. You get a couple of different color options, my favorite of course being the orange version as usual, but you can have a cycle through and pick which colors you like for your own watch face. You also get the option to customize some of the shortcuts, which is a really handy addition. And then lastly, you do have that all important always on display option there. A really nice episode to kick off our first episode of 2024, and I have to say I really do love the marketing images. They look really well put together. Thank you so much to the developer for putting the time into this. Up next though, in at number 2 is the S4U London Classic. Now, I don't actually think I've ever made a watch face video without featuring one of this developer's watch faces, but I'll keep saying it, I genuinely think they are some of the best watch faces out there. I think the quality and detail you get out of these sorts of watch faces are top notch, and not to mention they are very sensibly priced for what you're getting. Anyway, this one is the London Classic. I think it was the subtle realism that stood out to me with this one. It effortlessly gives you a much more elegant look, and the attention to detail is absolutely phenomenal. I especially like the black and gold version. I think that looks really great. As far as the information display goes, we do have the time there in analog format, and then the battery gauge off to the left, date to the right, heart rate at the top, and below you have your pedometer. Perhaps not the most practical watch face for the gym, for example, but if you are wanting to make your watch smarter, then this is a really great option. As always with S4U watch faces, you get tons of customization options. This one comes with 7 to 10 different versions to choose from, and then you can change some of the elements individually if you so desire. To get to this option, just simply tap and hold the watch face and you can take it from there. Lastly, it has a really minimal always on display option, which just dims all the details and leaves you with the analog hands. A great watch face and a personal favorite of mine for 2024. Remember to vote for your favorite watch face down in the comment section and the Discord server, and even chat to me if you so desire. Next up, we have got the Ballozi Radia. Now, this one is a super clean, super futuristic watch face from another one of my favorite developers. There's a lot to love on this one, especially the amount of information displayed, including your date, time, steps, heart rate, battery life, and even your weather. There's also a couple of customizable shortcuts you can switch up there at the bottom, and you also have your moon phases, something that we're seeing more and more of these days on Galaxy watch faces. Worth mentioning, I think, for the amount of information you get on this watch face, the developer has done a really good job at keeping it practical and easy to read. Everything is spaced out really nicely, and you can tell some serious time and thought has gone into the design. As far as customizing the watch face goes, I love the color combinations on the default watch face, but you do get a choice of around 9 different color combinations to choose from, which I think all look brilliant. Probably one of my favorite digital watch faces going into 2024. And question of the day, what smartwatch are you currently using? And if you don't have a smartwatch, what smartwatch do you really want? Let me know down in the comment section. Next up, following the theme of the last watch face, we have got a really simple, clean, minimal watch face for you. This one's a little bit dialed back in terms of design compared to the last one, but some of you may actually prefer a less vibrant, punchy look. This is the GRBL Black watch face. On this one, you get your calories burnt, distance walked, date, time, battery life, steps, weather, and a couple of handy shortcuts. I will say, if you do like this one, we do have a very similar style coming up later on in this episode, but back to this one now, it does also come with 2 changeable complications, and you can also adjust the progress bars around the edges if you so desire. Not much more to say on this one. It's just a super simplistic, easy to read watch face, and for less than £1, it's definitely worth adding to your library. Next up, in at number 5, we've got the SWF Hexagon Classic. Now, SWF are definitely another noteworthy developer here. They have made some fantastically detailed, unique watch faces in the past, which have obviously had a lot of thought and planning put into them, and this one is no exception. On this watch face, you get the time in classic analog format with a super modern minimal twist. You also get your date and battery life there. Whilst not as information packed as some of the other watch faces from this episode, it does offer some excellent customization options, and the watch face itself has been fully animated. I won't go through all of the customization options because there are a lot, but to give you an idea, you can change the colors and the interior of the watch, and it has some really cool options including a fake glass look, which just adds a little bit of realism and depth to the watch face. Certainly a favorite of mine for 2024, but it is a little bit more on the expensive side than a lot of the other paid watch faces from this episode, and it's coming in at a whopping £2.89. Still worth it though, considering all the time and effort that's gone into it. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section as we move on to watch face number 6, which is the Masson. Now there is a reason why I featured this one in the thumbnail for this video, mainly because of the realism and depth the watch face has, not unlike our last watch face, but I think the developers have really gone to the next level with this one. As well as the eye-popping detail, it's also jam-packed with information including your steps, battery life, steps counter, date, and time in both analog and digital format. You get your distance walked, calories burned, and it's just a great utilitarian watch face that actually still looks really classy. If that all wasn't enough for you though, it does come with a bunch of customization options. You have a lot of freedom with this one with the colors you can choose. I personally like them all, but I really can't decide which one is my favorite, to be honest. I'll quickly show you what the always on display looks like, and I would say as a final note, it would look a little bit better on one of the older Galaxy watches, like the Galaxy Watch 4 for example, as that one had a more traditional classic look. As always, do let me know in the comment section what you think of this one, and we are going to push on to our next watch face of the episode, which is the GRBL 2. So we're changing things up with this watch face a little bit. This is a digital, super clean and minimal watch face that's really easy to read on the fly for those sports enthusiasts out there. It has tons of information including your date and time in digital format, your steps, calories burnt, battery life, weather, distance traveled, and of course your heart rate there. This one goes really well with some of the latest Galaxy watches that don't have that rotating bezel or that classic older look. And it also comes with a total of 13 different themes to choose from, which give you a variety of colors. There's something a little bit retro and sci-fi about it, which I absolutely love. It does also come with a really nice, clean, always on display option, which just gets rid of all the extra information and puts the time on a nice, clean background. If this one is up your street, do let me know in the comment section what you think, but we are going to move on to our next watch face, which is the NTV 551. Now this one might get some of you a little bit excited as it very closely resembles a classic Casio watch, and it's done pretty well in my opinion. Obviously this one is a retro digital watch face with a solid amount of information packed in, including your weather, steps, heart rate, and date, but it does come with the option to customize these so you can pick whatever information you want to display on your watch. There is a little bit more to this watch face than that though. It does come with the ability to customize the colors, and I believe you get over 6 different options to choose from. It doesn't change the watch face that drastically, but nonetheless a really nice feature to have. Again, this type of watch face does look really good on some of the later Galaxy watches without that rotating bezel, like the Galaxy Watch 6 or 5 in my opinion, so definitely a good one to pick up if you do have one of the later watches. Now before we go, I will just quickly show you the always on display option, and to be honest, I do find myself using this feature a little bit more now that smartwatches are getting a little bit better in the battery life section, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section on that. And whilst you're doing that, we are going to move on to watch face number 9, which is the AE Convert. This one is another lovely classic watch face, but it is a digital analog hybrid, so you get the best of both worlds with this one. Lovely bit of depth and detail in this one, making it one of the more realistic watch faces of this episode, and it's also laid out really nicely. As far as information display goes, you get your date and your time in both digital and analog format, battery life over to the left, heart rate down there at the bottom, and your date over to the right. It also comes with 5 shortcuts around the edge of the watch, which can take you to things like your step counter or your alarm. It doesn't stop there though. The AE Convert also comes with 5 different color combinations to choose from. They're not as vibrant as some of the other watch faces we've reviewed, but some of you might like a more toned down, muted watch face, maybe a bit of a more mature look, so this one's definitely for you. Again, before we move on, I'll quickly show you the ambient mode, which just turns all the dials to a cool orange color. A really lovely watch face, but it does have some stiff competition with watch face number 10, which is the SHO 25. This one is very similar to the last one in that it is a digital analog hybrid, but I think it's got a little bit more to it, albeit in a slightly more stylized design. As far as information display goes, it has your steps, heart rate, weather and battery life, and obviously the time in both analog and digital format. I especially love the digital screen in this one. I think it works really well with the rest of the watch. And aside from having a decent amount of information on the watch face, it does come with several customizable features, including around 8 different color combinations to choose from. Personally, I think the yellow version looks pretty cool, nice and punchy, but still practical to read. Lastly, this watch face does feature an always on display mode, which just mutes everything a little bit. Really love this one. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. In at number 11, we have got the Firefighter watch face. Now, I really love the simplistic, minimal design on this one, and it does still feature a couple of really good bits of information, including your time, date, battery life, and then at the top there, you have got a shortcut to your alarm. Not as jam-packed as some of the other watch faces from this episode for sure, but I think a scaled-back watch face might appeal to some of you, so that's why I put this in. Moving on, it does have a really nice, simple, always-on display mode, which just gets rid of all these smaller details and leaves you with the essential date and time there, bang in the middle. Not much else to say on this watch face, it's just a really cool, simple watch face to add to your library. But in stark contrast to that, we've got our next watch face, which is the GPT Officer. This one really is jam-packed and there is a lot going on. For those of you who like your retro style watch faces, this might be another really good one for you. As far as information display goes, it has your date, time, distance walked, steps, battery life, and then customizable shortcuts to things like your weather, phone log, and alarms. It also comes with a fairly wide variety of color options, up to 7 to choose from, I believe. They're a lot more vibrant than things I'd usually go for, but I still think they look really nice. Again, on this one, I think the yellow one looks really good, and it does have a really cool feature where if you tap the screen, it will dim the watch face, which is a really nice idea and just adds an extra layer of interactivity to the watch face. Really liking this as a retro style digital watch face. If you like this one, you might love the NTV 551 as well, which is also a really nice retro watch face and more closely resembles that classic Casio watch. Coming up next, we do have a bunch more Galaxy Watch faces for you to check out. Please do click in the top corner of the screen now to jump to the next episode. Do not forget to vote for your favorite Galaxy Watch of this episode. Let me know down in the comment section. And if you did enjoy the video, please do leave a like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.